Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today's map has kind of excited me a little bit. A creator we've done very recently, episode 1459, where they got 10 stars and a perfectly lovely map it was too. We've done them twice before as well actually, whilst I'm on the subject. Episode 714 didn't score too well, but let's not worry about that one, because way back in episode 92 I gave them 10 stars on that occasion as well. It's a map that's just grabbed my attention and grabbed my musings, and there's a lot that I'm really excited by with this one. One thing that I'm not, and it's kind of a major thing, but also, listen, we're city builders, so these things we just change anyway. So when I get to that thing, just ignore me. You probably disagree with me anyway. Most of you do most of the time. Before you disagree with me today, can you agree on one thing? That's right, agreeing that clicking the like button is a really good way of supporting the channel is a very good way of supporting the channel. Thank you for your support. Today's map is NAGARA RIMBA NUSA by Oz. Okay, right, so we've done Indonesian map just 2 weeks ago. We're doing another one now, but this one has a wee bit of a difference. There's your start square. There's not much there already, and there's good news, because in real life, there's not much there already. There's your terrain heights. We'll get to that later, don't worry. Terrain heights, lots of buildable space, and that's what we like as city builders. Resources are very strong. Wow. Just basically wow is all I can say to that. And then if you've got something to harbour and do some fishing, I'm really impressed by this. This fishing map is one of the most impressive for a long while. Off to the workshop, what do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. Other than that, it's 100% vanilla. We'll be using the realistic 2.0.11 tropical beta theme, and of course, because we always do, the realistic 1.2 LUT. This real life location is going to be the future capital of Indonesia. Will be known as Nusantara, which is Indonesian for archipelago, and I'll give you a little bit more information on this particular location in the factoids, because factoids was why wouldn't I? Just to show that they know how to use the tunnels, we have a little stretch of tunnel here, but we basically don't bother going any further than that. That's the tunneling pretty much covered. So yes, why was I excited by the map? Well, it's a city that doesn't really exist. It's a city which was designed by competition, a city that is being designed by designers of cities. And what are we if we are not city designers? As a Cities Skylines player, this is what we do. So, giving us the opportunity to be creative in designing what is going to be a major city from scratch, with a real life location map that is pleasingly playable. And does it feel like Indonesia? It's got a bit of a tropical feel and tropical vibe to it. But I'm not really feeling that it's Indonesia, but the shape of the map is what matters more than anything. And it's got a very nice shape to it. We've got networks that cover all of the bases, so there is all of that. But it's the networks that I'm not very excited by. There's something, again, listen, we're city builders. We're going to demolish, we're going to move, we're going to rebuild everything to our likings anyway. And it's not that the standards aren't good. Here's a potential start location over here. And again, some very slick intersections today. The intersections were borrowed from Arizandi. Okay, this one. Anybody remember Arizandi? Great intersection designer, amongst other things, of course. A thoroughly nice dude too. But yes, we've got good standard. The standards are not anything for me to grumble about. I'm not going to be saying, oh, there's jinky jankies here, or we got splash of blue mantle there, or any glitchery or anything like that. I'm not complaining about the standards. I'm just not excited by the layout. That said, if you ask me how I would do it differently, I haven't really got an answer to that. The layout is fine. The layout is absolutely fine. Am I enthused by it? I'm not. And that is my grumble with the map. It's a personal opinion that the layout isn't really grabbing me. But again, the layout is absolutely fine. Oz, if you're watching this one and you think I'm having a go at your layout, honestly, mate, I have no way that I would personally improve this one. I think there are probably better map makers than I that might have some ideas about what they would do with it, just to spice it up and to spruce it up a little bit. But what you've given us is perfectly good, so yeah, just ignore me. Most people do. I'm just here to showcase a few maps, trying to find myself the best map for my next city. This is how it all started out, you know, all those years ago. Couldn't find a map that I was happy with, couldn't find a guide that would help me find a map that I would be happy with. Started doing a series, and here I am 4 years later. Is it 4 years? I think we are 4 years now, aren't we? Is it 5 years? Are we going to our 5th year? 2017, 5 years later. Good grief. Oh, you think I'd got something better to do, like building a city on maybe a map that isn't quite the perfect map. Okay, right, we have a slight little bit of issue with some trees under the road right there. Again, it's 100, and again, oh, look at this intersection. Arizandi, wow. But yeah, again, this is a 100% vanilla map, so I'm only seeing that because of my Anarchy settings, which is a mod, and if you're playing 100% vanilla, you won't see them. And to be honest with you, there are so few trees actually under the networks on this map, it's not going to matter. Yeah, I mean, you get a bulldozer to it and you'll get rid of them, or you'll use move it to select them, and you'll get rid of them in seconds, and that's a fix. It is technically a minor downgrade on detailing, but that's all it is. It's a minor thing. It's come on, let's give Oz a break, shall we? The thing with this map that's excited me is that it's just a city that's not been built, that's going to be a major city, and that news had passed me by. I mean, I'm sure it must have been major news over in Indonesia when they decided that Jakarta was becoming too bogged down, growing rapidly. She starts growing into section again. Very nice there. But yeah, Jakarta apparently, it's obviously becoming a major city, potentially going to become the biggest city in the world, overtaking Tokyo. I'm guessing that's by rate of growth and how it's expanding. And so to have a working capital, you've got to be creative and either completely redeveloping and rebuilding large chunks of Jakarta, which I'm guessing isn't something that lets you enter the map over. Let's jump over the rail. Again, what's there to grumble about with the rail? The bridges look a bit low, and yes, the catenary is clipping into it, but the wires are not. And it's not beyond the realms of believability that the catenary would be built into the bridge to suspend the wires. So again, I don't mind that. That's fine. Okay. But yes, apparently Jakarta is sinking, probably under the weight of all of those buildings and traffic, as well as just basic terrain changes that happen. So yes, they had to build a new city. Well, they are building a new city. And there's quite a lot of it very interesting. I've read a couple of the articles, and the factoids, because factoids is just a snippet from one of the local press. The press, indeed. I'll read you a couple of lines from that to give you a bit more information, background information for what it matters. But I'm just excited by having to build a brand new city from scratch. And the thing is, you can go wild, because this is going to be a camp there, slightly encroaching foliage there, and the rail can dead end over there as well. But yes, it's oh, hang on, there's rail over here as well. Let's skip over to the rail over here very briefly, and we'll see another lowish bridge in a moment, just because before we hit the intermission. You can go wild. You can be really creative if you're going to build a capital city from scratch. You can go and you can put some really bizarre and fantastic architecture in here, as long as you have good traffic flow, and that is going to be the main thing. Anyway, the rail apparently ends under here. Can you see that? Intermission. We'll be right back after this.
Are you fed up with random vanilla buildings spawning in random locations? Do you want a specific type of building in a particular zone? Then you need the beginner's guide to theme management. Click the information button below.
And so back to NAGARA RIMBA NUSA by Oz. We have some right angle shipping turning, so yes, we could upgrade the shipping routes a little bit to stop the ships from making right angle turnings, but it kind of does the thing. It's a tree hitting all of the areas you might want to put down the harbour, and so I can't really grumble too much. Just slightly slicker intersect. Yeah, ships don't do right angle turns normally, very often anyway. Water flow through the start square. We do have some water flow in the start square. It's pretty strong, and that has been enforced by the very good use of a spawn point. We come up here and have a little look around the corner. Look at how strong the water flow is here, and we've got a little suction point right there. So that's good. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, map as a whole, it's just a very, it's almost a standard stock kind of shape, isn't it? Nothing here is superly exciting, but it's that. Also, here's that network. The network just doesn't grab me. Two parallel highways with like the connection across at the top. Again, how would I do it differently? I don't know. I certainly wouldn't change any of the terrain, because we're based on a real life location. Being inspired by this location, it's going to be a big city. It's going to be a good city build. Everybody's favourite factory with a little vanilla pier in there as well. That's fine. Just a little bit of light fun detailing here and there. We've got some bumpy-ish land in places. But like down here, we've got this little clump of trees on the top of this little hillock, just there. And a lot of the, and you notice with the vanilla trees, look at all these vanilla trees. They are the old, ugly vanilla trees. I'm making a point of this because you're going to see something in a minute where you go, oh, okay. So anyway, all the old, ugly vanilla trees. Some roughish land over here in the corner. Again, you probably won't be building this far away from the river anyway. But anyway, all the old ugly-ish vanilla trees over there as well. Down here, around the rock, we've got the new vanilla trees. I don't know if that's been done by design, or whether it was a question of the trees became available at the very last minute, so putting the rocks down. I don't know. But it kind of works for me, so I'm not going to moan. But yeah, you'll see that around a lot of the rocks that we'll see some of the newer trees plopped down. Then we have another vanilla pier over here with the Essential Lighthouse. Isn't she lovely? In red. And, I mean, plausible, you might need a lighthouse there, possibly, I guess. And then we've got the vanilla rocks. Now, I'm not really buying into the vanilla rock work. Maybe there are some rocky outcrops. I've been down in Google Earth. I didn't find any rocky outcrops, but maybe there are. But I think if there had been, I probably would have done this personally using the actual terrain mesh itself. Doesn't quite work for me in terms of rock detailing, but maybe it is. We've even got some of the glory holes, and it's a volcanic area, so maybe steam vents here. Maybe if we just put some little steam spawns inside of these, possibly. It's just a thought. I don't know. I don't know the area. I'm bowing to the greater knowledge of those of you from Indonesia or have been to Indonesia to tell me, that this actually does feel very Indonesian. Just working from Google Earth, it's a good city build, just not feeling Indonesia from it. But listen, it's a good map. It is. And we've also got a great Indonesian asset of the day. That famous bit of Indonesia called the United Kingdom. This is Memorial Cross by Sparks. Sparks has been making assets for the longest time, and they're one of my go-tos for UK assets. and it's a bit of a quirky asset, so hence it's on Saturday, which is today. And factoids, because factoids. Okay, the Jakarta Post, a couple of lines from there. That's the Public Works and Housing Ministry has announced that the NAGARA RIMBA NUSA design as the winner of the design contest for the country's new capital city in East Kalimantan. These apologies again. The design created by architecture and urban design studio Urban Plus beat 755 other contestants to win the prize of the equivalent of 142,963 US dollars, obviously in the local currency, because that would just be mean. Forcing, oh, sorry, a bit too close to the cross there. But yes, yeah, very interesting. And very interesting little thing. Loving all the lichen on this by Sparks Memorial Cross. Feels very weathered. Weathered is the word for that one. Even that, you could use that anywhere in the world that you might have a stone cross, surely. Anyway, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, I'm going to say it's pretty much on a par with what we saw a couple of weeks ago. That one was a lot more based on a real life city. This one's based on a potential real life city. Aesthetically, doesn't feel Indonesian to me, but it feels pleasing enough to want to play. And I think pleasing enough to want to play would put it at the high end of 3 stars. Detailing, pretty much the same. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got some pretty decent standards. I'm not enthused, but I got nothing to complain about either. 1 or 2 trees under the road, that's about it. Again, doesn't feel like a 4-star map, so I'm going to push it at the very high end of 3 stars. Listen, this pass mark is 3 stars. It's the pass mark. And go past the pass mark on gameplay potential. Though I don't particularly like the network, I'm still excited by the map. And that is going to push it into 4 stars, because being excited makes me want to play it. Making me want to play it is gameplay potential. Boom. Result. NAGARA RIMBA NUSA by Oz, even with 10 stars, is getting the BonBonB seal of approval, because it's a city that is going to be built. I want to build this city before they do. I want to see how they compare. How exciting. Come on, be excited with me. Or don't, whichever. I don't care. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with the chart show. Again, episode 200 of the chart show. You think I'd do a special, like one big final show, but no, just going to keep going. Anyway, use the words of the day in the comments to prove yourself part of the 20 and out elites, and I'll be back tomorrow with the chart show, and on Monday with more What's Map and a tutorial tomorrow as well.